welcome to Academy of Tone 276 Flying V. I played UFO rock bottom with, of course, Michael Schenker, the one and only Schenker. No, there's two Schenkers, but Michael is one of the greatest German guitar players, in my opinion. Yeah, and later on we have, well, one of my all-time favorites, which is Andy Powell. Andy Powell is so influential when it comes to using that guitar, which is the Flying V, but also as being a master of the twin guitar. With the band Wishbone Ash, they wrote history and they created a lot of guitar excitement, which was later picked up by many bands, from Iron Maiden. You know, when you listen to any twin guitar thing, you will probably find some inspiration back from Andy Powell and from, of course, Wishbone Ash. Yeah, this song here, Rock Bottom, Michael Schenker, there's a little story. I have played a lot with a drummer called Bodo Schopf. That's this gentleman over here. And he is on my Rock Anarchy live CD and DVD. And Bodo had a history with Michael Schenker, being on tour with him back in the, I guess, 80s it was. One day, the crew and everybody was leaving the hotel, and Bodo had nothing but his underwear and a t-shirt, no money. So he was a bit mad at Michael, but somehow they had a nice conversation like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and they kind of reunited, and Bodo is now playing with Michael on every gig, which is cool. And yeah, if you want to hear Bodo Schopf, he's on the Rock Anarchy. So I know some of the background stories of Michael Schenker. Yeah, as I said, one of the greatest German guitar players. Funny, there's also Uli John Roth, who is another of those great German guitar players. Let's say from the earlier days. I mean, and both played in the Scorpions. There is some dispute on Michael and the Scorpions, which is probably fair enough. Things happen like that. I'm more or less neutral. I don't know what is really true and what's not. All I know, from all the sides, everybody was nice to me. And here is a little story about the Flying V and maybe the history of the Flying V. Looking back at this very unique guitar design, when you have no experience how to play such a V, it's like when you sit here, it's more like a ukulele. It doesn't work like that. So that design looks so cool and so iconic, but how to play it actually works only if you put it here in between the legs, and that's the way. That's, to me, the only way I could play that guitar. But the history of that guitar is kind of interesting because the Gibson president, Ted McCarthy, in the late 50s was inspired by like Fender having success with the Stratocaster. So they wanted to get some exciting new designs in their product line. And they came up with some modernistic guitars, the Explorer. Well, Matthias Jabs is probably one of those who you know plays an Explorer, but there's many others. And then the Flying V, and then there's the Modern. And the Modern has never been produced. So they had like 3 guitar designs, and only the Flying V and the Explorer made it to the market. And the funny thing about the Flying V is when it came out in 1958, there were only 98 guitars produced. 98 guitars. And in 1959, they already stopped the production because that kind of guitar didn't sell well, or didn't almost sell at all. So it was kind of a flop. But, you know, as the story goes, sometimes the flop turns into a hit. And people like Albert King, Jimi Hendrix played blues on that guitar, which is again a bit weird because imagine, you know, a blues player with a traditional style of music having such a futuristic design. But anyway, this was a starting point, and everybody is, of course, influenced by those, Jimi Hendrix and the Kings, but Albert King using the V. He was inspiring a lot of people. Yeah. But back to the year 58. In 1958, there were 98 guitars being made. And I had the big pleasure and honor to play one of those. That is a 1958, that is the guitar that was on Pete Townsend, what was it, White City or some, you know, where he was kind of this cosmetics. And it used to belong to a female, who was it again? It wasn't Linda Ronstadt, no, from Heart, I think. What's her name? Anyway, so this guitar was a famous guitar. I mean, 98 only made, and this particular guitar was celebrity owner, and then came into Pete Townsend's hands, and it ended up at Rudolf Schenker's collection. And I'm the host of the World of Vintage Guitars for #1 Guitar Center Hamburg, which is a music store specialized in vintage guitars. So I have the chance to play a lot of super expensive guitars. I was told that that guitar, because it's so rare and it's the real deal, it's about 650,000 euros or dollars. 650,000. So just a house. I was holding a house in my hand. There's a little video, watch it, enjoy. Welcome to the world of vintage guitars. This is the magic 1958 Flying V from Rudolf Schenker of the Scorpions. This guitar is a very, very rare guitar. It's one of the first ones ever made, and it has the Corinna body, 2 PAF pickups, and to me you can hear that this guitar has a lot of magic. It has a breathe, a nice high end. It has everything you want from an electric guitar. Listen to the acoustic qualities, even on a clean setting here. Okay, this was the middle position. Let's start with the humbucker, which is of course a PAF humbucker. Very transparent. It has all this kind of chimey high end, which I love so much. And you know, when I play with the fingers, I can really make some impressive tones with it. Okay, the in-between position. Again, nice and sparkly. Next is the neck position. Yeah, you know, this kind of... Yeah, I mean, if you want to watch the full video, go on The World of Vintage Guitars on YouTube and put in 58 Flying V. I have done about 100 guitars and we'll do another round later this year. Actually, there was a collection of 463 guitars and I will pick some and we'll show those. This guitar, as you can see, is a great guitar, but nobody would be with this guitar on stage because it's very expensive and it's, you know, it's a collector's item because it's so rare. But still, what I do like about the job being able to play those guitars is I get a feel what the real deal is and what the magic is. And I can memorize sounds very well. So I take this with me for the rest of my life. And if I would ever have a V, I know what it could sound. If it should sound like an original 58. And you could hear it's just a very musical instrument. This kind of super light wood, the Corina wood, which is special. Later, they changed it, of course, for mahogany. But anyway, this guitar is Rudolf Schenker's guitar, and he has a few words to say, or to tell you about his guitar. Check it out.
The Les Paul was too heavy for me because it's
yeah.
No, and then I tried so many guitars, Explorers,
Firebirds.
Yeah, Firebirds and Thunderbirds. And if Thunderbirds is a bass bass, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when my brother left to UFO, the first thing I did, I bought the Flying V back. Because I tell you one thing, from all this checking out the different guitars and playing them on stage, I never felt very, very confident.
Yeah.
So, but with the Flying V, it was really the guitar. Yeah.
Is your main. Yeah, so that's the story of that original 58 Flying V of Rudolf Schenker. Being so unsuccessful and only having 98 of these guitars in the market, there was a big gap until '67. And this is when this guitar came along. This is an original 1967. But this is already a mahogany body and neck. And this particular guitar, I have to admit, I kind of like it because the neck is a little skinnier, a little slimmer, and yeah, it plays well. I was borrowing this guitar, so it doesn't belong to me. But that's the guitar that I could easily play. And again, this guitar has a lot of qualities that I really dig. Maybe I can explain a little bit about that Michael Schenker sound that I was using. I mean, Michael has a great tone, and he probably has way more modern V's from different brands with different pickups. But this is like the all original 1967 guitar. The only thing I have done, I have changed a little bit the string action, and that's about it. The rest, nothing is done on this guitar. It's just, yeah, as it is. So, what is that secret Schenker tone? Well, it is that guitar. When you listen just without any amplification, it rings, okay? And the next thing is no treble bleed, no nothing. Let me show you. So this is like volume on 3. Yeah, so this is how a Michael Schenker tone works. There is no channel switching, there's nothing. On the AMP1, I'm using the classic channel. The tone is all the way counterclockwise. I use the boost, but the boost is set to mid, not all the way up. And I have the gain on almost 8. And the tone control is super simple because it's almost 5 on the bass, almost 5 on the middle, but lots more treble. It's almost 7. So you know, when I play that guitar just by myself, it sounds a little shrill. But in the mix, and when you listen to Schenker, there is this clarity, there is this kind of extra high end. And for the blue box, I'm using stack 70 in the middle position, just for the guys to, so you can replicate that same tone. Yeah, 1967, it's a great instrument and a great color, yeah. And then, of course, this instrument was reissued, and one of those beautiful reissues I also borrowed from Martin Müller, who is Mr. McMahon. And by the way, we will have a gig together in Neunkirchen Reithalle the day before the Deutsche Einheit, which is the 2nd of October, I guess. So this now is a reissue from, wait a minute, he gave me 2000 and whatever, 10 years old or something. It was 5,000 euros. Bam, 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 serial number 81309. Okay, let's check out how this guitar does the job. Again, a nice one. A modern guitar, not a real vintage one, but it's doing the thing. It has a thicker neck because that's more the 58 specs. I don't have exactly memories of Rudolph's 58. My feeling is this is a little thicker, so Rudolph's original 58 is in between the two. But anyway, it's a great neck, it's a great guitar. It has those expensive pickups. What are these? The Gibson electric custom bucker, Alnico 3. Yeah, so as it should be, this is how good it gets when you buy a new Gibson these days. Yeah. Pretty nice guitar, and yeah, you can feel home, and I'm sure Martin does too. I can see by his sweat on here. So, you know, that guitar is being played and loved, which is great for guitars. Yeah, that's a reissue. By the way, next week, Oliver Hartmann might join again on topics of vintage versus reissues versus new. So I'm not going into more detail today because there will be a few full episode on things like that. Okay, back to the Flying V. I wanted to show you a clip of Albert King playing the blues on a V, because two things: killer player, and now you will if you don't know, you will learn where Gary Moore was getting his early influences from, and also Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, we all experts know it. If you don't know, you can hear where it's coming from. And his style is so unique because he has the strings kind of upside down, and it's unbelievable. But hey, check it out. One of the great kings, this time it's Albert King.
The word great is often misused, not so this time. One of the great bluesmen, Albert King.
I love the way he really, is wringing the neck, wring that neck, and sweating, and that's the real bluesman thing. I kind of really like that. Yeah. Well, back to the history of the Flying V. We have a lot of V players these days that are inspired by those early musicians like Albert King and Lonnie Mack and Jimi Hendrix, but also Andy Powell. I mean, this is what Michael Schenker is mentioning when it comes to Flying V. He names Andy Powell as one of the guys that are, the masters of the V. And yeah, then in the modern age, we have Judas Priest, Mr. Downing, or we have James Hetfield of Metallica, all these more modern players, or we had Manny Cewe here from Godslave, and he has an ESP Flying V. So there's many different styles of Flying V guitars. Yeah, I kind of like the story that it started as a flop. The Flying V was a flop and now is a hit. So sometimes the time is not right for a great idea because, hey, that design, that's so iconic. What's wrong about that design? It's one of the best and symmetrical. It's just a beautiful design. Killer design, killer sound. I mean, you can play anything on that guitar because compared to Les Paul, it is not as heavy in the low end, and therefore it has a little bit more speed in a way, in a nice way. It's lighter. It's more like a SG, it's more like one of those because not as heavy, not as thick with the body. This compared, that's heavy and a thick body. That's a Les Paul. Every of these guitars have their unique tone and their unique quality. So that's there's nothing wrong with any of those guitars. It's just amazing to see that the history started with a flop and it became a hit, which I find funny, and it's an example that you should never stop. Whatever, like in music, some of the bands, they started with something that nobody did understand at the time, and then a few years later, boom, something happened. So if the idea is strong, the time will come for the Flying V. Yeah, the time will come for Guitar Summit as well. It's 26, 27, 28 of September. BluGuitar is always at the same place. Entrance up the stairs, first booth, that's us. We have a stage that we share with Andreas Kloppmann or with Kloppmann Electrics. And we have invited a few people. Well, there is Pete Baumkötter with a very special guitar from Doc Schneider, Friday, 12 o'clock. Then at 1 on Friday, I will play with Emanuel Knorr, well, the host of Academy of Shred. So we will play a song together. He will shred and I will play Strat, which is fun. Martin Engelin is coming on Friday at 2 to do some bass and explain the Kloppmann bass pickups. And as I have a band with him, I play a song with him too. Then D. Damas is coming. UFO, yeah, UDO. He's playing in UDO and he will explain his pickup set, which is from Klopman. And every night we will have a BluGuitar T-shirt contest kind of picture. So if you come at, when is it, 1800 is 6 p.m., 6 in the evening, it closes at 7, then we will make a photo of everybody that has a BluGuitar T-shirt. And if you don't have one by then, you can still buy it there. And I don't know if we have any kind of lottery or things going on. Anyway, on Saturday we have Rudi Beinroth from Hamburg, a very, very young talent, but I'm talking talent. Yeah, so he's there. I played with him twice, and every time it's like amazing. Okay, then I will probably have a surprise guest. Let's see what happened then. And then there's another Emmanuel Knorr thing, and then there's Frank Parnet coming, explaining his pickup set. And Saturday evening I will do the thing that we have done last year. Andreas Klopman and myself will play, and we will simply have fun. And you can sing along if you're there. If you have been there last year, you know what it is. It is a fun thing. Yeah. Sunday, well, on Saturday there's the big concert, and I will join there too. Sunday there is Ben Granfeld is coming at 1. And so I might play a song with him or two. Then he will do his own thing while I do my master class. Then Andreas Klopman will do a full run on the history of PAF pickups, because that's his topic these days. Yeah, so the whole Guitar Summit is packed, and I have other demos, including AMP demos. And Sunday, I think that is at 2. I'm at the sound stage all the way up, the biggest stage in the building, and we will have the AMP comparison show. So all I'm saying is I'm very excited for Guitar Summit, and I hope to see you guys there. At least I will see a lot of Germans there, and luckily a lot of Americans. We have a huge list of international artists coming to this show. It's amazing. I mean, Andy Woods, Andy Timmons, Andy Klopman, Andy Warhol. No, that's another one. But, you know, there's so many international guys because it's a focused show and it has a very great atmosphere, super seminars. Go and check out Guitar Summit. There are websites and, you know, things to check out. Now is the time to talk about Andy Powell. For me, Andy Powell, you know, is an iconic guitarist, guitar player. And what makes me even happier is that he's actually using AMP1. And you know, there's a few connections. One connection is Andy goes back with Andreas Klopman, the pickup guy, which is the guy that we share the booth, you know. So we are together at Guitar Summit. And I'm working with Andreas Klopman for 30 years for my pickups, and we are friends. We share our knowledge. We share, you know, we share apartments at NEM, so we are friends and business friends. So we have a lot of things to talk and a lot of fun. So that's one connection with Andy Powell, because Andy is touring constantly since the 70s. I'm talking 1970, when he was like one of the founders of Wishbone Ash. Or co-founder, whatever. He don't quote me there, but he is one of the guys, and he's still in this band, and he's still doing it, and he still loves touring. So he's coming to Germany probably once a year, or in summer when it's nice, and when he's home, he lives in the US, and this is where I made a long interview with him talking about anything. And with Andy, I had the chance to meet him in last year, no, 2 years ago, I think it was, because he was playing in France, kind of not too far from where I live. And he is always on tour in the good clubs, and Wishbone Ash is it's a very well-known band that has steady touring and steady fans, and very loyal fans. And when you meet the guy, you know why, because they love what they are doing, and this is not to me, it looks like a family business. And so the other mutual friend that we do have is Ben Granfeld, as he was playing in Wishbone Ash for a couple of years, co-writing some songs and blah, blah, blah. So, and I have that band with Blue Granfeld Engelin. So there's like 3 names that I had brought up already. So there's the other connection. And one day Andy was curious to check out an AMP1. Andreas was recommending the Iridium edition. I said, no, it's a Mercury for you. And Andy ended up buying the Mercury edition. And I have to stress that he's buying the amp, because BluGuitar is a small company. We don't have a budget to give away stuff for free, because then we cannot invest it in new toys. And I highly appreciate from our artists that they actually pay for gear. It means a lot to me. That means it's not a freebie that, oh yeah, it's nice, and next week I have something else. No, they actually go to their own bank account and they wire the money. And that makes me even double proud of Andy Powell. And here is a little clip from when we met 2 years ago. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, Wishbone Ash in France. Where are we today? Framing.
This place is Framing Merbach. Again, it sounds almost German.
Yeah, it actually used to be German.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Then that explains it.
Okay. And I'm very, very honored and very proud to see that you both are using the AMP1 on this tour.
Yeah, well, we've been doing some crazy stuff lately. We went to Turkey about a week ago, and we had to bring stuff with us, small stuff.
Yeah.
So I just put my AMP1 in a backpack.
Yeah.
That was a first for me. But no, we're absolutely, we spent some time tweaking ours for us today, and we just absolutely love it. Incredible.
And you discovered that you actually can hook up 2 16-ohm cabinets on the 2 outputs.
Yeah, we didn't realize that because
so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we can see, there's 2 outputs, 2 cabinets, and it works. It simply works, and it sounds killer. I heard the sound check, and you both complement each other very nicely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's so great. And this is funny because we actually had a little connection back in the UK with the company called John Hornby's Cues. You work for them?
I worked there very briefly in the late 90s, yeah. And doing using Kettner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was the Kettner guy back in the days, and now we're here. Hey, this world is so small.
And you invented and worked on and tweaked and produced my favourite pedal ever, the Road Sound.
Which is over here.
Using Kettner, yeah, we have it somewhere.
I spotted it.
I mean, this is like the best
Leslie.
rotary unit, Leslie facsimile thing, and I use it to this day. I've been using it for decades. The Rotosphere. So that's a massive honour to meet you, Thomas.
Hey,
and
big pleasure.
thanks for all the work on the.
Hey guys,
on the Blue.
thanks for using stuff that I did.
love it.
You're saving our life. I mean, this thing. It's an amp in a box. 100 watts. 100 watts. Unbelievable.
Yeah, this was so. Yeah, I mean, you know, we had long conversation that day, which was great, and they even let me play through their gear, so I could actually check how their rigs sound. You know, Mark and Andy, and for me, that's always an experience to understand what their tone is, because maybe there's a thing we might talk in the future, and then I can go back in my memory and think, okay, I know what they have done, and I made, of course, some photos of the settings, how they use the AMP1, and what makes me proud, I can see every gig they are still using AMP1. So they always have those beautiful orange cabinets, and they always, or not always, but sometimes have the orange heads, but they are not being used. So they kind of spare those and use the AMP1 because it works for them. It makes them happy, and I'm so happy because this is now 2 years, and they have been using the AMP1s maybe 2 years previous of that. So that's makes 5 years or 4 years, whatever. So that's a pretty good thing. And here, the Rotosphere. So he's got two pedals, the AMP1 and the Rotosphere that came from my side. And by the way, the Rotosphere is another hit, like a Flying V. When this pedal came out, at the beginning, people didn't get it, because what is a Leslie for a guitar? It took me almost a year to convince Jusen Kettner to do it, because Leslie is made for organs. Why should I, but it's a niche market, and the list of names using that pedal is incredible. I'm talking about the biggest names ever. We talk Jeff Beck, I know Aerosmith, Billy Gibbons, Warren Haynes, and Andy Powell, you name them. All the guys that know what a real Leslie sounds like, they have that pedal. And I mean, it's now very old. It's designed in probably 1995 or, late 1990s, last century. And they're still around. And if you get one of those, it's still the thing. It's probably still one of the best sounding Leslie simulators that you can have between your guitar and your amp. Yeah. Well, watch the next, I think, 1 hour and whatever, almost 20 minutes, my very intense, very personal interview with Andy Powell. I think we covered a lot of things, but time was flying, and in the middle of the interview, I had to stop, and because whatever, my computer recording came to an end, and then Andy called me back and said, "Hey, we are not finished. I have so much more to tell you." So, and then there comes, but this is now edited in one piece, and I hope you will enjoy the great Andy Powell and that long interview with Andy, because he goes back, as I told you, from the 70s until today, living the life of the real deal musicians on the road, in the studio, writing songs like it was back in the days. So something about being a musician that really, he's somebody who enjoys what he's doing, and that's why he is still doing it. And he's still doing it the way it probably should be. It's, for me, impressive. And it's a role model. Yeah. Enjoy Andy Powell. That's all I want to say. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my big pleasure, honor to have Andy Powell here, the one and only Andy Powell, I guess the hardest working man in the music business. I don't. Well, I think you are doing it a bit longer than I do. Didn't you start in the 60s or 70s when I was born?
You're making it sound really old. Yeah, I would. I thought like a professional musician from the age of about 14, and I was always in bands with older guys. And so I was watching what they were doing, and they were very much about, hey, we're going out on the weekend to earn some money with music.
Yeah.
And my first really big professional gig, believe it or not, was opening for the High Numbers, who were later became the Who, in England, and I was 14.
Oh, cool.
And so you can imagine the impact of this London band coming out to the provinces, and with proper stage clothing, Marshall stacks, which we'd never seen, curly guitar leads.
Yep.
And I was forever mind blown. I was just like, when you're 14, I mean, those kind of things. So I just, at that point, I just got the bug. I got and that was it. Yeah.
What was the difference from, like when you look back from today back to the 70s and 60s? I mean, I grew up as a teenager, and maybe that time would have been the 80s, like early 80s, mid 80s. And I was always thinking about, the atmosphere in the UK, James Bond, the E-Type, Jaguar, and, and then, Marshall M's and Jimi Hendrix coming to London, and the Who, and, the Wildlife, and Brighton, and the Mods, and later
that's it. What was it like?
What was it like? Or have you been drunk like all the other guys and don't remember anything?
No, I didn't really start drinking until I started to travel across the transatlantic to play in the States, and you get on the airplane, the first thing they do would give you a Scotch and Coke or something,
Yeah.
But no, I was very dedicated to being professional. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I saw Hendrix play, for example, at the Royal Festival Hall in England. I worked near Carnaby Street for a period of time in Oxford Street. I saw Cream's first gig. I saw Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac first gig. I was in the audience when they debuted that band, and I leapt up on stage at the last number and pulled Peter on. I was 17. So there was, as you say, it was a great atmosphere. I mean, you can relate to this. In Germany, I was born, I was like a baby boomer, born post Second World War. Right. So my folks come from the east end of London. We were bombed out. Yeah. So basically, like in Germany, everything had to be rebuilt. And so we were in these towns where everything was fresh and new. And it was a new beginning. And so music was playing into that, because if they didn't, they wanted everyone to have a good education. But if you didn't go to university,
Yeah.
you went to art college, and that's where a lot of the British musicians came.
Yeah.
English art colleges, and they went to study art, but they ended up playing music like Pete Townsend and all these people. Ron Wood. They were all art students, and so it was a magical atmosphere. I mean, I remember going to see Blind Faith in Hyde Park at the concerts they opened up the Hyde Park. It's unbelievable. And the Stones, I saw Stones in Hyde Park.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was rock and roll, and the whole culture was rock and roll. The whole culture was music. And for me, the 60s was just a fabulous time for music because every year it was a new trend.
Yeah, for me, to now, it's like so amazing in these years. I'm talking, well, retrospective, 66 till 70, whatever.
Yeah.
Every year there was the foundation of a new style. I mean, Ozzy just passed away, and I mean they also have the roots in that time era, and they did the horror kind of sound, and which became metal now. And
yeah, I know. It's so interesting, the start of metal, start of rock. I mean, what a lot of people, exactly as you say. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that the early rock musicians in England in the 60s, there was no rock before that. The first real bands were Cream, Purple, but those guys all were listening to blues or R&B. I mean, I myself, in my teens, I was playing in big bands with horns and playing Stax, Motown, and I was just learning rhythm. And so I had a great grounding. So, the early rock bands and the guitarists in particular were coming out of this. I mean, Wishbone Ash itself was influenced with the harmony lead. We couldn't afford horns, so we did it on the guitar.
See, this is what I like about the British attitude, you simply go for it. The Germans sometimes to start to overthink things. It's we can't replace horns without horns. We have to have real horns or we don't do it at all. And the Brits, to me, like the Beatles, they were bold enough to do it. Simply, it's like, okay, we have no horn section, so Richards goes and makes,
Great example. That was I read an interview with him, and he said that, or it might have been in his book, Keith. Your Satisfaction was a horn riff. And so our song Blind Eye, which was one of the first songs we wrote as a group, was that's a whole riff, with harmony guitars and a bass and jazz drumming, So I love that, that everything comes from something, right? I mean,
right. It's obvious, but the thing is, you do it your way, and you take it to another level by giving it your whatever DNA, and this is the beauty of music. It evolves, and of course the Beatles didn't invent the notes, but they invented a lot. And then the bands that copy the Beatles, because the Beatles already copied some of the American guys or tried to be, and then did their own thing. Everybody is doing their own thing, and by doing exactly this, you come up with fresh new music and personalities. Because for me, the biggest thing in music is it's humans that actually create it. It's a personality that speaks to you through the music, through the presence, through the melody that you compose, through the harmony. And that's the beauty of what you are doing with Wishbone Ash. It's like, it's a sound that's unique, and you inspired a whole generation after, all these British Iron Maidens and
heavy metal stuff. I mean, a lot of the it's all generational. I mean, first, obviously bands like Big Country, the guys in Iron Maiden, they would have been 5 years younger than us. I was 5 years younger than the guys in with Peter Green, for example, my big influence. and Cream and Fairport Convention and these bands. And then you've got the other generation coming up behind us that they were taking it a bit further. They were they saw the Flying V image, for example, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And they just saw that as being a complete performer's guitar and visual image, which, because don't forget, we had the British Music Press was really, really essential to breaking bands in England at that time. We had, Melody Maker, Sounds, New Music Express, and then from the States, we had Billboard and all the other stuff. But and then we had a few magazines like Beat Instrumental. And so, us baby boomer kids in our teens would wait every week, Thursday, for the Melody Maker to come out. And that's how you all got gigs. And I'll say one thing in particular, Thomas, that you didn't mention, was the fact that we were all starving. We had no money. Right?
Wow.
So that, when you put it in a mix, when we formed, I answered an advert in the Melody Maker to join Wishbone Ash. I came up to London with my homemade guitar, and I had the opportunity. I probably could have gone to university, but I had this thing. I wanted to do this and try it. My father said, "Okay, go up to London, do the audition." And I wasn't taking this lightly. It wasn't like, I have Social Security to fall back on. I have another career. It was, and then we lived in what we call in England squats. We were squatters in a rat-infested apartment, and we had to make it. And those bands that were like 5 years older than us, Rod Stewart, bands I would see. I mean, they were all handled by heavy-duty Tin Pan Alley, you'd say mafia type managers.
Managements,
Peter Grant, and and then later we got our manager, and it was it's a combination of starving initially and extreme hard work, and this whole thing about making it in America, we've got to make it, because if we don't make it, we fail. So it's do or die.
Yeah, I feel that also because it was an explosion. An explosion means there's intense amount of energy, and then this wants to break out. And I mean, you had like a role model, which was probably the Beatles and the Stones, the guys that were a bit older, and that made it already. So you thought, if Keith Richards can play 5 chords, I can play 6. I will make it too.
That's a great example. Because it was handmade music, and it was up there on stage, and it was the feeling was, well, when you're young, you can do anything. You think you can do anything.
Yeah, so, of course not.
I mean, I took it, Thomas. I took it even as far as making my own stage clothes. I would, my first guitar was handmade. I still have it actually somewhere around here.
Okay, cool.
And we were all just enamored with this freedom of being free from the whole war years, and our parents, God bless them, they worked really hard. But we were this free generation, and we had the education, we had good water, clean air, we had all these things that you take for granted now. And I feel very fortunate about that. We had brand new housing, very brand new housing, and education.
When it comes to the Flying V,
that's a nice one. Wow.
Yeah, it's actually not mine, unfortunately. But this is, I don't know, it's early 70s, maybe, I don't know. I just picked it.
That looks to me very much, I had one identical to that, even with the stinger on the back of the neck. That is I'm going to bet that is an original 67.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's what they call, I think they call that the cherry, like a metal. It's almost a metallic.
Yeah. It's like red brownish metal. Nice color. Yeah, it's like
nice color. Yeah, I've copied it a few times on what I've had made, and I sold mine, unfortunately, identical to that to Rudolf Schenker.
Ah, okay, Rudolf, the other German V
Yeah,
player.
he has it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so here's my 67, and you
Ah,
can
cool.
see it's probably it. But my thing was I always put the pickup rings on. But originally this guitar looked like that.
Yeah, yeah, I can
Uh,
see.
Um,
And
so it's
you take off the covers to have more high end?
I I just was experimenting. I was like, well, what does it sound like if I saw a few people doing it, and
Yeah.
I don't think there's much difference. I like the way it looked,
Okay.
but
Cool.
I later I modified this a bit. This actually has been refinished twice.
Okay.
This is my
But
mainstay guitar. I played all the records from 72 or 71 onwards.
yeah,
So,
talking about touring, I'm not sure, but maybe you are the guy that at least that I know, that probably played the most gigs uh, in his entire life. I don't know if there are people that actually play more gigs than you. I mean, uh, you are so amazing to me. I mean, you're still doing it fresh as being 20, and you still enjoy it, because I can see that when, I mean, you come to Europe a lot. You now you're in the States, right? Where you live?
yeah, this is my main place of
Yeah.
where I.
So, and it's a life. You choose that life, being a musician, making music, being on stage, traveling. You, yeah, it's amazing. It's just, I don't know if there's anyone else on the planet who played more gigs than you. I don't know. If so,
I mean, maybe some old blues guys, but yeah, it's been decades now, and you're exactly right. I realized that the key to being happy in the business was to abandon this whole concept, which was prevalent with a lot of 70s bands, which was we have to quote unquote make it.
yeah,
And so what the hell is making it? Okay, you buy enough money to buy a car, or you may be lucky to have a family or a house or a
yeah,
relationship with kids, or what. So where do you stop with the definition of making it? That's a short term thing. So I really actually realized that quite early on that we created a fan community, and
yeah.
you give to them and they give you back
Back.
energy. And then above and beyond all, be humble, because this is a privilege to play music,
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah,
right? I mean, and so after a while, you become less dismissive of certain people you meet on the road. You go, oh, this guy's not worth my time, or and you start to go, you say, I'm blessed every day. I'm blessed,
yeah,
and then you start to really enjoy the lifestyle.
yeah.
For me, I was a rock and roll lifestyle. I mean, I'm not doing anything in excess, anymore. I've been through that.
We all have phases, which is cool, because it's good to understand what the world can offer and what price you have to pay. I mean, I can have a glass of wine, but me, even being younger than you, the second glass of wine makes me so tired or gives me headaches, because I'm totally not used to it. And
Yeah,
I only drink one, two beers when I play gigs. When I'm going home, I drink my sparkling mineral water or tea, English tea actually,
yeah,
with milk, and
yeah.
that's it.
I'm the same. Everything in
Yeah,
moderation now. Although I will say, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm not an addictive personality, except with music.
yeah,
So I've been. I mean, some people physiologically are addictive,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's very unfortunate. And of course, the great thing or the bad thing in a way about this lifestyle, everything is accessible to you.
sure.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And
Yeah,
so it takes actually, people don't understand, it takes massive discipline to live this lifestyle. You're going through time changes with travel,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
having to be on stage, whether you feel ill or you're healthy every night. And so the whole thing of being a professional is discipline. But the trick is to make it look like, oh, it's just casual, man. I just pick up my guitar and I'm wailing out, and I'm having a great time.
I think at least for me, what I experienced is when you are on stage, there is some adrenaline that helps you even if you have pain. I remember I had a serious back issue once. I couldn't really get out of the car. It was like stuck, you know. So everybody look away. Come on. I could not even bend over for my pedal board. The moment the music started, I think like 20 seconds later, I was in the music and my pain was at least gone for the gig.
It is unbelievable. Yeah, yeah.
You make the same experience. It's like
I used to go to well, we toured Germany every year, as you probably know.
yeah.
I'd always arrange it so the tour was broken up into 2 sections, so that I could go skiing in the French Alps for 10 days. And I damaged my rotator cuff.
Yeah.
Then I had to finish the tour. So I'm in terrible pain on my shoulder. But it stopped me doing this, but I couldn't do that. And through the tour in excruciating pain every night. So it's exactly as you say, you know, the excitement of the adrenaline pumping around your body is an amazing.
And I think another aspect is I know people looking forward for their retirement. It's like all they think about is like, what can I do to not work? What can I do to be? I mean, if they really enjoy it, I don't mind. But for me, I cannot imagine myself stopping what I'm doing. It's like, you know, I have my amplifier company now, which I never planned to have. I ended up there. So, but I enjoy what I'm doing. So, you know, it's this company will never be for sale because as long as I live, I want to tinker, I want to twiddle, I want to design, I want, you know, that and play the guitar. I found the things that make me happy, and
it takes a lot of courage too, you know, because you're on your own. You're foregoing things like you're not thinking about retirement. You're thinking about the glass half full, rather than. I mean, there's a great band that I actually like. They're not real rock, but they're called the Cardigans, and they're from up Scandinavia way. And there's a line in the song that goes, "It's strange how people behave. They long for a life as a slave." And you know, a lot of our music, our early music, was very, you know, I have to be a warrior. I have to fight the good fight. I have to do it. And I don't know, it's a big thing in metal too. But there's something about that warrior spirit where you say, I'm not fighting or working for to be a slave. But it does take a lot of courage. It's not for everyone. I wouldn't advise.
No. You have to have the right personality, and you have. I mean, I can imagine people not being able to take the risk like I do with my company. It's like I had to learn that too. I mean, there's a lesson when you want to become an entrepreneur. I have the best lesson to do. Take $100 bill or euro bill and light it up with a lighter. If you show an emotion, then do the next one until you don't have any emotion. Then welcome to the business.
That's absolutely a great example. You know, it's a thing that I've actually given talks in music colleges to students who are far better musicians than myself. And I always say, you know, there's talent on every street corner. You can find so many talented players.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, you know, are you prepared to make what you might say is a Faustian pact to sacrifice initially your life to go for what your dream is, to realize your dream. And the other thing is that if you are, especially these days with young musicians, you have to be prepared to self-promote as you're doing right now. You've got everything around. You do it wherever you go. I do, you know, I mean, you have to have this, without being cheesy, you have to have a belief in yourself and you have to be organized. And these days, more, I mean, promoters, what you do, I mean, I'm not used to this. I grew up with it in the era of having managers, AR men, PR men, and road crews and everything. But now, you know, they want videos for everything. You have to be a self-promoter. This is a profession. I mean, the part that you see on stage is that is the final thing. I mean, I'm financing tours, you know. I mean, I'm the manager now, and it's no small thing to be massively in debt before you get out on the road, and carrying all this, working with the banks and working with this, you know. And I've got guys that work with me and work for me, and they're all dependent. They've got families, so I treat it. I'm a professional. I mean, you know, I sometimes go to the dentist or the doctor, and they go, "So what do you do?" You know, I go, "Well, I play music," and I go, and I say, "I'm like you. I'm a professional." And they look at you and they go, "Really?" No, I'm a dentist. I'm like, "Dude, you have no idea." You know.
But yeah, most people have no idea what it means to be a professional musician. And these days, I mean, I have like everything here. It's my camera, it's my my notes, is my email, it's my calendar. This rules the world, and it's 24/7 with a few exception hours for sleep, getting everything done, organized.
I mean, I'm often working like 3 in the morning. I'll wake up, I go, "Oh God, I've got to send that email to that person," or "Oh shoot, I didn't book this." And the first thing in the morning, you know, before I'm even dressed, I'll get out of bed. Sometimes I'm not even out of bed, and I'm working, and suddenly 5 hours goes by. And like you said earlier, I learned that doing business, the music business, actually could be creative too. And I found that there was a creative buzz in pulling off a little deal or making a new contact. I mean, right now, for example, I'm talking to people in Thailand, Japan, and Philippines.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is very exciting. Maybe we could do a tour there next year. You know, could be fun.
Yeah. And it's, you learn a lot about things when you do them and not talk about them. And this is, you know, back to your early days when you had no alternative, where you had to succeed or this was the end. This is what you learn when you are a proper musician. And this is what you have to learn when you are also a proper entrepreneur, which now I am. I'm half musician and half whatever, you know.
But I don't think that's so unusual anymore. I think a lot of musicians are also doing that. I mean, you're doing it with physical equipment and the amplifier and everything. But I mean, what they're also doing it with their. It's hard to make records now to make, to make money to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So, when did we meet? Somewhere in France, like 2 years ago.
Yes.
Summer. It was warm. Maybe you have more memory than I have.
Was it France or was it Switzerland? I can't remember.
No, it was France. It was France. I definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somewhere on tour. We've started touring France a lot more now. And you came over and we tweaked the amps.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, you have been using the AMP1 for quite a while now. And still being on it with us on tour.
I just did Sweden Rock, 50,000 people. I had a bunch of Marshalls and things up on stage. I ended up just plugging in the Blue.
Okay.
And you know, I can dial in my sound immediately, and I have to thank Ben Granfeld, our mutual
friend,
who turned me on to many things equipment-wise, but that was a good one. And the thing I love about it, when I'm doing festivals, I literally can put that amp in a backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I need to, and it's 100 watts, and it's been amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, on stage, I always see you with the orange cabinets and sometimes heads. I mean, I love those cabinets because they are super. You know, I do my own cabinets, but I have to admit that the orange cabinets, also the modern cabinets, are really good. It's
really good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something about the physics of it, the wood. I don't know, but it works really, really well. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like it. And you are now together with Mark for how many years?
Believe it or not, he's been in the band for 8 years, I think now. So long, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've only done one major album because there's just been so much road work. I mean, after COVID, I thought it was game over with COVID. I really did. I thought that album would be my last, but we just started to get all these offers and work.
What else can we do? But I mean, we enjoy our work. That's the main thing about the whole thing.
Absolutely. No, I do. I mean, I like the lifestyle. I've got. I mean, when I think about, like, when I'm at home, whether it's here and I also have a place in France, you can see. I mean, I'm in the woods. I'm
nice, nice and green.
And I have a few close friends locally. Not typically music, but when I go out on the road, I'm touching base with people like yourself. In all the different countries, I have, colleagues and friends, and I love this circuit. People from different cultures. I love it. It's like a good night down the pub,
Yeah, and we have so many things we can talk about because we can share, we can exchange knowledge, we can, I'm so happy to be part of that scene myself too,
Scene, yeah, exactly. And the thing that's really cool about it, and I wish more politicians understood this, is that when you're linked into a common thing like music, it's completely, number one, it's ageless. I mean, I'm 75. I'm working with people of all ages.
Yeah.
I'm working with all cultures, whether I'm up in Finland or Norway or Germany, Japan. Everybody understands rock and roll and the rock and roll mentality. It's very cool. It's super cool. So it's like another country, another culture.
And I think that the music is so universal. Wherever I played in my life, and I've been to a lot of countries, and
you do NAMM shows as well.
Yeah, sure, NAMM shows, and I've even been to Russia and played there, and I've seen many countries, and I've done many clinics in shops in the wherever there's a power outlet in the music shop somewhere. I might have used it.
Sure.
And it's always connecting to people is the best thing, and they can feel the music, they can feel you, and then you can connect. And politics is these days a hard. We don't go there. I know. Okay.
I know it's a strange world right now. So it gets back to your earlier thing about in a world that's in flux and crazy, right? I collect music more than ever, and for me it gets weird if I'm off the road too much because my brain starts going, and I can get very, very involved in politics, too involved, and I'm much more centered when I have music and I have a guitar in my hand. I'm much more centered. It gives me a purpose and I'm moving forward. I'm just one of these people that I'm very restless. I have to be moving all the time. Even when I'm at home, I'm all around everywhere. I destroy every room I'm in. I mean, if you look at, I'm just, I'm just a sort of. It drives my wife crazy. She's a very patient lady to live with me, but yeah, I've got to be moving.
Yeah. Same here. Hey, Andy, wise words. Thank you so much for now. We have to continue another time. But
I wanted to show you all my Flying Vs, but maybe next time. I got some cool things I'm doing here. This I'm making. I'm working with a company called Guitarists, and we're doing a line of copying the 67 V. I'm amazed you've got that guitar in your hands. That is a classic. So. Let me know if that guy ever wants to sell it.
How much are these going for? Do you have any idea?
A lot of money. I don't know.
Okay. Then I probably put it down and don't scratch it.
Be careful. But no, great talking with you, Thomas. And maybe we'll pick up on more technical aspects of the Flying Vs because there's a lot to them that people don't know.
You wanted to continue with a few insights in the V.
Yeah, well, before we get to that, I admit it was very interesting, the first part of your interview, because you were touching on my formative years. And I was trying to describe the atmosphere in the 60s when I was growing up, when I was a teenager in England. So we couldn't get access to these fabulous American guitars. We couldn't get parts for these guitars. But we wanted to be making music, handmade music. So several of us decided, in my neighborhood, we decided to make our own guitars. So I was 15, and and I made this guitar.
So you built this by yourself, right?
Yeah. Well, I built this on my mother's dining room table.
Wow.
And and so I had, all I could do was go up to London and look in the window. I didn't even know. I just got the shape of this. I call it the Les Powell, you know. But,
yeah, of course.
But
Andy Powell, Les Powell.
I did the shape by memory. Yeah. I didn't copy any of it, and I knew it had this. You know, I like the fiddleback, and I had an uncle who used to in the 60s. Bowling alleys were very popular in Britain, probably the same in Germany.
Yeah,
and he got all this very nice maple wood from Canada. I think it was.
Yeah.
The floors. So and we couldn't get these. These are not real humbucking pickups, and the surrounds are made of wood. This is like something from Russia, you know.
Yeah.
But my father was an engineer, and he helped me make this part, and we carved it out of a block of brass, and we chromium plated it. So it was. So that's another thing that I really got from building the guitar was I understood how electric guitars worked. Yeah. And what it was to make a good sound out of them, you know, the physics of it. And then when I went up to London, we were booked to play in America for our first tour. Right. And we needed powerful equipment that we were going to ship across from London because they just had Fender amps and things over there. And we were booked on these big shows. Fenders are great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got some really nice old Tweed 59 here that I used on a lot of recordings, you know, a nice old bass. You see it? Yeah. So basically, I had heard about this German company. I didn't know they were German, but this guy called Walter Matthias who was making these amps for a company called Orange.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I went in to get the to buy this amplifiers, and I needed a guitar to test the amplifier.
Right. Yeah.
So there were two of these hanging on the wall. This one and another. They were talking 1971.
Oh, yeah.
No one wanted these guitars. It was brand new from '67, still in the packing cases. And I tried this thing out, and I went, and I was playing it through the amplifier cleanly. And I went, this doesn't sound like a Gibson. This has this thing. It's got some twang to it. Yeah. With this. And I was,
Whammy, yeah.
You know, I grew up with Hank Marvin of the Shadows. Yeah. It's the same thing. So the vibrato, you know, and but then of course I cranked it up.
Yeah.
And it had some sort of you know, some sort of thickness to the sound.
Yeah.
And so I bought the amplifiers and I bought the guitar at the same time. And then I got this thing back. I never looked back, you know. And I realized, you know, that I couldn't easily play this thing sitting down. This is a performance guitar, and I was starting coming out of my shy stage, and I realized that I had to perform. And this guitar made me into a performer. So I owe everything to this guitar. And and then. So that's the story of the Flying V there, and so I learned everything there was to learn about these guitars, including how the vibrato works or doesn't work.
Right.
Because you have to set them up right. A lot of people don't realize that the thumb screws on a original '67 they're curved on the top.
Ah, okay.
And this makes the rocking action of the bridge, because it's only a piece of bent spring behind it. So
Yeah.
on the Tune-o-matic rocks nicely on the curve. I don't know if that one's got the curved thumb screws on the top, but it rocks nicely. And if you set them up right, they work great, you know.
Okay. Who was first? The Scorpions or with a V? Or did you know any other guys back in those days playing Flying Vs? I mean, there was the blues guy, Albert King, maybe, or who was it?
Albert King. Yeah, I bought a single by him. It was called Personal Manager, and there was a picture of him on the cover of the album with a guitar similar to this, not the same as this, but it was this Carina wood. This is a Carina V.
Yeah.
My custom Vs, but and they were. It was a novelty thing, you know. But he actually got a great sound out of that guitar. So I was aware of the guitar, but no, everyone wanted to play Stratocasters and Les Pauls, you know. And so I know for a fact. Well, I've seen interviews with Michael. He would have been, 15 or something at that point, and he mentions me, you know. But I think that he was. I think the imagery of me was starting to becoming prevalent in the newspapers, in the music papers. So this was This was Gibson's attempt to compete with Fender with the, cars. Guitars are like cars, these bright cars, and so I think that the music press played a big role in making it pop. Yeah, there you go. I mean, the Fender Strats were always painted in car paint,
Right.
And so Gibson was still sticking to guitars that they were very conservative, but the shape of the Flying V was just absolutely not conservative. And I think that I was probably the first in rock anyway. And then of course the Scorpions made it very popular. And then as we say, in metal, it's now the guitar. The guitar. Yeah. But that's just the shape. The thing about it was that, as I said earlier, Gibson's like the Les Paul is a very superficially a mellow sounding guitar. You've got the mahogany back, and then you've got the maple top for snap. Warm sounding guitars. But so this guitar also is warm, but it's got, I don't know, because maybe the amount of wood in the body.
Yeah, it's lighter. It's lighter, and so it has more breadth. It's more open. Yeah, I kind of like it, but I don't know how to play it. That's the one.
Yes, I know. Well, once you know how to play, you spend a lot of hours and years with one guitar, and you become one with it, and that's what I had to do when I first started. So anyway, I studied the guitars, and so here's another one, and we're now making these. It's a guy in Connecticut, and it's got my signature on it. But these, we offer these to people, and they are amazing copies of. It's just, I mean, I'm using these on stage as well, and I mean, it's beautiful mahogany. We're using Pete Flynn pickups. I think Bonamassa's using those at the moment. We've got the original vibrolas. Everything is correct, and these things just, it's just superb. I mean, my 60s, the 67. I don't think the neck. I think the neck on that is quite slender, right? Almost like a 60s a 60s Strat, probably. Yeah.
It fit. 63 Strat could be very similar neck shape.
Yeah, not as big as certainly not as big as a 59 Les Paul.
No. Totally. It's a nice neck for a Strat player like myself.
Yes. It just sounds to me like that guitar needs to be set up right. I can hear it buzzing and stuff, but it needs some setup.
Yeah, it needs the setup. That's true.
Yeah. But it's in great condition. Great condition. If he ever wants to sell it, I would. It was my favorite guitar. I never should have sold it. I had about 6 of them, and I had a Sunburst. I had that one. I had a couple of 60s, cherry ones. But I miss it. I miss that guitar. Yeah, it's a great guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that Rudolf Schenker bought them all because I met him once, and he had that original '58 Corinna, that Holy Grail, super expensive guitar,
Yes,
which was actually a very good guitar.
yes,
Sound-wise, it was killer.
amazing.
Yeah,
Should never
but
have sold that one.
yeah.
He put
But
out the story. He put out the story that he traded the guitar for a leather jacket. That's a complete
oh,
bullshit.
that hurts. That hurts. Ouch.
No,
No.
no, no. But the thing was, I had a collection, huge collection in the 70s, 85 guitars, and and they were all classics. But I decided to build a recording studio,
And there,
and you know what that's like.
a lot of money.
In those
Yeah,
days, it was, yeah. So, but I don't regret it. As you were saying earlier, it was all experience.
yeah,
And so, now I do have all the guitars I want, but they're all players' guitars, whereas that collection was, museum quality stuff, a lot of it.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's Joe Bonamassa's job these days. and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and I see it from two sides. On the one hand, you can enjoy these instruments. On the
Yeah.
other hand, do you want to live in the place with all your guitars that are worth $1 million and being afraid of burglary and some people freak out when, which I would too, if imagine this would be a
Yeah.
$500,000
Yeah.
guitar, and
Yeah.
how you cannot really play it. What can you do with it? It's like,
But that was it. Got to a point with these guitars where I was moving them backwards and forwards. I was getting
yeah,
through customs with them. Some of them,
yeah,
I was playing a lot of them on stage. I was playing the 58 on stage. But
yeah,
yeah, you're absolutely right. I thought it got to a point where I need to do something with these because I can't play them all. I mean, I had Strats from 54 to 63 every year.
yeah,
I say, and so I started selling these guitars, and it was like, one night I remember I went to some private airfield at
mhm,
midnight, and a guy flew in his private Cessna plane, met me on the airfield with his guitar tech, and I sold this 54 Fender Stratocaster to him, and he took the whole guitar apart on this airfield. And so I thought I was like doing a drug deal.
yeah,
I don't want to be in this world. Now
yeah,
Bonamassa, he's actually he's that bit, because now we live in the world of social media. He's
yeah,
figured out how to monetize this collecting.
sure, yeah,
So for me, it was I monetized it by building a recording studio, and it was a residential thing, and we made records there. So
yeah,
it was another thing. But now
yeah.
he's the premier collector, I guess. Yeah.
And of course, he has a background, his father, and all that stuff. But I'm happy that I know I'm not a real collector. I love great
Same
sounding
with me.
guitars,
Same here
and
now.
and I bought all the guitars that are worth some money when they were cheap, when I was doing clinics and music stores, when and I said, oh, what's this 335 in the background? I mean, we're talking 1995 or and
Yeah.
then somebody, whatever, 800 marks or euros or something, and then I got a 64.
By default, yeah. Is that it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you
So
playing that the other day. Yeah.
yeah, and it's such a great guitar, but I knew it because of the sound, and I never
Yes.
had speculated on will this thing
No.
be worth money. It's just a
But that
great
was
instrument.
I totally agree with you. And when I started collecting, I bought everything from the standpoint is I'm going to play this on record. I was fortunate to be making records,
Yeah.
and I need a good Strat, for example.
Yeah.
Or I played everything on stage for one point or another. And I never thought, I mean, you could buy 57 Strats for $300 in pawn shops, when we first started here in the States.
Yeah.
And so my 54 Strat, my 52 Telly I bought for $300. It used to belong to Roy Buchanan. I mean, they were just things that we bought.
I pay you 400.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm with you on that. I only ever
Yeah.
wanted to get those guitars to play them, but of course it got too many. It became too many.
Yeah.
And so, now I just have what I need for the job, And I want to share what I've learned about these guitars, the Flying V, with younger people. I converse with, as you probably do, by email with a lot of fans and players, and they're intrigued with these guitars. They can't buy a 58. They'll never own a 58. But what is it that made the 58 so special? Well, I can tell you. The body was a bit thicker than the 67s. It's like a cross between a 67 and a Les Paul in sound. So, a heavier duty guitar. And I know everything about them, and I can share that information with people.
Yeah, and that's why I love that job, being in contact with people, and even having I'm the host for Number One Music in Hamburg for their World of Vintage Guitars, and I can learn a lot. So they bring all the guitars, and I make videos. I play a little bit, and so I learn a lot about these instruments, and it's something I can take home. The lesson that I learned, not the guitar, And
that's a great quote.
Yeah. And for me, I can memorize sounds pretty well. This is by nature, and my job is sound design. So and this is like, I can bug people like Andreas Kloppmann with, I want that kind of high end. Andreas, there is something missing, and you have to pick up number set 5 for me.
Yes,
and then he actually takes the challenge, and he goes back and says, okay, I know what you mean. And then
he did that for me.
Yeah. And that's an evolution, and that's creating products or things that we can actually use. It's like
you're a channeler. You're a channeler for. Like Andreas, for example, he's had a lot. He's a really very good guitar player. He's had a lot. He's had a lot of guitars in his hands. The feel, touch, the sound, it's all in him. And same for me. I can pick up a guitar instantly. I don't need like yourself. I don't need to plug the thing in.
Yeah.
Is the wood vibrating? Is this thing alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it talk to you, or does it's that piece of wood, and there's a personal connection also. Sometimes I take up a guitar and it tells me there's music in it for me.
Totally. Yes.
It's like, wow, there's something about it.
Yes.
Let me have that guitar for a while, and I know it's. Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. It's absolutely right. There's a kind of a memory in the wood. Like I told you about my uncle.
Yeah.
He was a woodworker. He's the one that gave me the wood for this guitar.
Right.
My father was left. It was his older brother. He was left his carpentry tools and the chisels and the spokeshaves. I swear, these things, when you picked up one of his tools, you could feel that these tools used.
He used them.
Yes, and the handle was burnished with his sweat.
And that's sometimes when I play other people's guitar, which I'm not the kind of guy that is so touchy that wants to, I have respect. I mean, this is your guitar. This is my guitar. I'm not
the same.
You could always play, because I know you have the same respect, but there's some people like on a trade show, they go, oh, there's a 61 Strat, and and it's like, you heard, you mistreat my instrument, and that there is a little memory. I have to love it for another few hours to make it happy again with me,
Yes, I am on the same page there. Yeah. One time I came into sound check, and the band was playing, and there was a guest we had. He was a pretty good guitar, and someone had let him pick up my Flying V, and he was playing with the band. And I walked in, I nearly hit the roof. I went crazy. I was like, it was just like something, not because of ego, but exactly as you just described. It was like, this has got me in it.
Yeah.
I bonded. I know. Yeah.
You bonded, and I respect that. This is when somebody, and when I touch other people's guitars, I'm not. You know, it's like having a new friend that I'm very cautious about. I'm
Yes.
not. I'm not going and kill it.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I do that on my instrument. You know.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that with you, Thomas. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely.
I have no explanation for all that stuff. I just know this is how I feel about it, and it is. I can feel it, and I know it is like that. That's the thing, and that's the same thing when I do like designing amps. You know, you can measure everything these days. You have your oscilloscope, and you see your wave shape and your frequency range. But there's sometimes things that I have a lot of respect for that I probably don't understand now, because I have to find a way how to discover how to measure what I feel or what I can hear. What is it? And and I'm doing the sound design job for 40 years now, and I still learn things, even though I learned a lot. I have the respect even more for the stuff that I don't know yet, you know, because that's the only thing that brings me to the next level, having that respect. And there's some people in this industry that say, you know, I have the formula, I know how it works. It's exactly the same. Hey guys, exactly the same. It's very dangerous to tell you, you know, exactly. I would be cautious with that. If you feel that it's the same for you, I'm happy. Or if it feels right for you, I'm happy too. Even if it's not exactly the same. But all these kind of statements, I'm very careful. It's
well, especially in this day and age where everything is tech. And you know, they often forget the alchemy of it's like being a wine taster, sommelier. You know, you know, I mean, often I like wine, I like food, and I often talk about food. It's like in frequencies, you know, if I'm eating something, like, oh, there's not enough high end on this. You know, maybe it needs a bit of salt, some salt, you know, or with the wine. You know, I'm drinking a glass of wine. It's like there's no mid-range in this. It's like, you know, but yeah, it's very fine sensitivity and sensibility to sound, food, wine, weather, everything. You know, I'm into cars. You know, same thing with cars. You know, it's like there's many, like 1,500 moving parts in a, you know, a car. You know, and there's something about a Ferrari compared to a Mercedes that it's like there's some magical alchemy in there. And of course, we're all interested in this stuff. And so I think this is some of the things that younger folk sometimes miss. They think we can fix everything with tech. If we can measure it. No. I think it's the quantum realm. We're getting out there now. But I think there's because this thing with wood that's because it's being affected on a quantum plane. I'm sure, because that's quantum physics, you know. Anyway, we're getting out there.
All I can state is I totally agree with you, because I feel that, and we are on stage, and what is happening? We create a noise that is moving air molecules that are recepted by some other people's ears and whatever, and if it wouldn't be exciting, people wouldn't come and pay money for it. So there must be something out there. And of course we can measure. Tonight we had 120 dBs. We are the loudest band in the world. Fuck the dBs. That's just one aspect of a million aspects that are happening at the same time. And we understand a few because we can measure this and this and this. But what about the other 500 or 500,000 we haven't heard about? They do exist because we know they affect people. And this is what happens with the audience. This happens with instruments. This happens with your speaker membrane. And this is also what happens.
I mean, sorry to jump in on you. You play a lot of shows. You play in a lot of rooms. And you know what it's like when you get on a stage in a room, might have quite a lot of wood in there. And the room, suddenly you get to a certain level, you might not be playing loud or overly loud, but the room suddenly hits that sweet spot. and the room becomes a giant speaker, and everyone in the room feels it, and it's like
that's magic. That's the magic. And I mean, we're talking about tone. I mean, I called my company Tone Innovation, and tone comes first. The innovation is just because I'm excited about tone, and I cherish the tone with all my beautiful Marshalls and tube amps and Fenders and vintage amps and vintage guitars, because there I made my tone experience. And now I just try to get that experience into a more practical format for us, being on stage, lugging around the stuff and not being 20 anymore. But the tone comes first. If there is no magic tone, I'm not going for it. At least if it.
I love your passion. I love your passion. This is esoteric, you know. Yeah. We could probably talk for the rest of the day about this stuff because, one of the first questions you asked me was, why do you seem to be somebody that enjoys this? It's because I'm always looking for that special sauce. I'm a seeker for all these things you just mentioned, you know, and so I might do 6 gigs and they might be okay, but then there's that one gig where I live on that for the next 2 weeks. Do you remember that? Oh, we did that gig 2 weeks ago. Wasn't that place amazing? Let's get back there. Hey, we could record an album there. That was so cool.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with gigs, with sounds. You remember that hall with that sound, that moment when whatever the guitar blended with the drums and with food. It's like, remember that red wine, you know, when we're sitting out there, and it's a combination. It's the combination of the wine and the temperature and the air and the weather. You can have the same wine at minus 15 degrees and it probably will not work the way it does in another situation.
Well, that's the endless quest. That's the bon vivant aspect of living. That is life. That is, to me, that is you're putting all of your sensibilities and your senses and those decades of experience, and this is living a good life. This is what so now I'm in my 7th decade and I'm pursuing that more than ever. So I need to get out of the house. I need to go. I have to go on my gypsy travels, and I feel blessed because I'm seeking that all the time. I'm not. I mean, I think this is a great point to actually end the interview because we're touching on to the source. You know, this is it, the essence, and I know it's what you're interested in, and certainly Wishbone Ash. We don't always hit it with our records, but you know, there's always 1 or 2 points on a record, or maybe a whole album where you go, that was a great album. But we're always looking for it. And the thing about being an artist is that if you are satisfied, then the job's done. You know, I think the essence of actually being a creator is that you never are satisfied. You've never reached the end of your work, right? I mean, you're always...
Totally agree. It's exactly how I feel. It's exactly what I do. And the good thing is there's always something you can do tomorrow, because you know there's stuff out there to discover, to experience. You know, that magic chord, that magic sound, that magic feeling. And you know, I don't think that we get depressed because the beauty is out there, and we kind of found a way that it comes to us just by the way we embrace it in whatever we do.
I was going to say, when I first started and going to the States, especially in my 20s, I was going around pawn shops looking and seeking these interesting guitars that no one seemed to want. That was my formative years. But now guitars come to me, and I don't always want to buy them, but it's like something happens that suddenly stuff comes to you, and people come to you. Better people come to you as well. So what you put out is what comes, but you get back eventually. But you have to live a life in this world, in this music game. And I just, getting back to what we talked about earlier, I just feel humble and grateful. That's basically it, you know.
Hey, Andy, thanks so much for being Andy. You know, there's no other words. Thanks for being you, and thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to see you in person with a glass of wine next time.
Yes, I agree. I concur with that. I look forward to that too, Thomas. Thanks for it was an enjoyable way to start my day. It's early here. It's late for you, but lovely
No
talking
problem.
to you. All the best.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.